Good evening, SHC families. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Unfortunately, I'm not there in person, but I really appreciate my colleagues who are there to host you and to welcome you. I hope you're in the right place. This is English 1-2 with me. I'm Alyssa Aninag, and I am your child's English teacher. I'll start in the way that we start with our classes. To take a moment and do a little warm up, there are some 3x5 cards available to you, as well as some markers and pen and pencils. Please grab a 3x5 card if you would like, and I encourage you to write your child a sweet note of encouragement. I'll share this with them before a major assessment. Please also be sure to address your child by the name they're called in school. You're welcome to use nicknames, but sometimes it's harder to decipher who your baby is when I'm returning the 3x5 card to them. You're also welcome to write in your native language as well. So this is the way we start class, typically with a writing activity where students come in and they get settled for a little bit and they have a warm-up or a do now that coincides with what we're doing for the day. As I mentioned, my name is Alyssa Aninag, and I am referred to as Miss Aninag, and it's like a girl's name, Anna, and nag, like you're being nagged to do the dishes. Here is my email. It's aaninag@shcp.edu. If you ever have any questions or concerns, I welcome your email. It also is oftentimes helpful to CC or include the child counselor in the email as well, just so that they're looped in. A little bit about me. I am a product of Catholic education. I grew up in Stockton, California, and went to St. Mary's High School. I then went on to earn my bachelor's in English literature as well as media studies at the University of San Diego. And then I also earned my master's of fine arts degree in creative writing from the University of San Francisco. I have over 12 years of experience in the education sector. I started right here at 826 Valencia here in San Francisco, which is a beloved nonprofit that supports San Francisco public school students with their creative and expository writing. I was also an adjunct professor for a handful of years at USF, supporting undergraduate students with literature and writing courses. And I was also a founding high school English teacher just across the bay in East Oakland at Cristo Rey High School. And all that experience has led me here, which I claim as my home at SHC. This is my 6th year as an instructor of English, and I'm also the assistant director for diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, specifically for academics, supporting other teachers to deepen their equity practices in the classroom. At the English 1-2 level, we are really forming and building the foundational skills, transitioning students from middle school to the rigors of high school, really trying to develop and hone their critical thinking and analysis, especially when it comes to writing as well as communicating their ideas, whether in small groups, larger discussions like Socratic seminars, or even the occasional presentation. We're also, especially the English department, I think really tries to be aligned in helping students learn executive functions of just how to be organized in high school. They're juggling a lot, not only in academics, but also their social life and extracurriculars. And so we really try to take the time to teach students the various skills needed to find that balance. This first quarter, we are reading The Odyssey, which is a graphic novel, so I hope this looks familiar to you. Students have just started reading the first 2 chapters of The Odyssey, and so far they seem really engaged and excited to read. A lot of students have shared that they're super interested in mythology and have already kind of thumbed through the book even before we started, so I think there's just genuine engagement so far. In this unit, we're really having students focus on reading critically and closely, not just the text, but also the artwork. that is featured in graphic novels and how that's also read as a text and something that students can make meaning out of. We really focus in on annotation and learning to add our own ideas and thoughts and questions to what we're reading, like you see here. Students are naturally grouped in these pods that you're sitting in. And so we do a lot of group work and small discussions to just sort of jog their own sort of reading comprehension, as well as diving deeper into what they're reading. The theme is in this purple box for our year, and this really guides our entire English 1-2 curriculum. How do choices shape one's character? Not only the characters that we're reading and studying in literature, but also themselves and their own character that they're sort of shaping, especially in high school and freshman year. At the end of this unit, they will be producing some kind of creative project because The Odyssey is a graphic novel and heavily relies on the creativity and illustrations of Gareth Hines. I also give students that opportunity to showcase their own creative skills, not only in visual art, like you see here, but as well as more auditory, or especially if they're more verbal, with an option to do a podcast. So these are a few examples of final projects that students have produced in the past year. In terms of workload, the homework is about 30 to 45 minutes over a day and a half because we do meet every other day. That will fluctuate throughout the year depending on what we're working on. Sometimes they may have no homework. Sometimes they may have a little bit more than that, especially if they're working on a summative or a major assessment. I do give them a little bit of time at the end of the block to start their homework, just so I'm there and they can ask me any questions if they're confused or need additional help, or even want to schedule office hours with me. At the freshman level, I really try to get to know each individual student better on a more personal level. So I have been having more one-on-one conversations with students in class. It can look like, what they're interested in outside of school, or how their weekend was, or what sort of extracurriculars they're into and want to pursue here at Sacred Heart Cathedral. And it's really a fun way for me to get to know them a little bit better. They already seem pretty comfortable just sharing a little bit more about themselves. But I do try to be intentional in having one-on-one conversations, especially at the beginning of the school year. For additional help, especially more focused on academics, I have office hours, which is in the yellow box. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are my office hours before school starting at 8:30 and after school until 3:30 p.m. I typically ask students to schedule just so I can anticipate them coming. I might, read their writing ahead of time to just prepare for that meeting, but they're always welcome to drop by as well. This is the students' block schedule. It's also my schedule. Days when I do see freshmen, I have 3 back-to-back blocks from 9:30 to 2:30 p.m. So if you ever communicate with me via email and I haven't gotten back to you, I am really good typically about responding within 48 hours, but know that sometimes I'm just teaching all day, so I can't get to you right away. Please be sure to sign up for Schoology updates. Our syllabus lives at the top of our Schoology page, so you can always access it there. And then, as I mentioned, email is best. Here's my email one more time if you missed it earlier. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you ever have any questions or concerns, and please also CC your child's counselor if it is something that you think they should be looped into as well. Thank you so much for coming today. Again, I'm so sorry and I'm bummed that I am not able to meet you in person, but just based on what I've experienced already with your students, it's been a real joy to teach them these past 3 weeks. So I hope to meet you at some point, maybe at a Bruce Mahoney game or some sort of SHC event. But thank you so much for coming this evening. And if you did fill out a 3x5 card with an encouraging message to your child, you can drop it off at the basket that's right by the front door. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a good evening.